How about those Chiefs?
And how Aaron Rodgers walked off the field with nothing but questions about what could have been and about what happens now. This is the road to Super Bowl 55. This is NFL Total Access. We are just 13 days away from the Super Bowl where the Buccaneers will face the Chiefs. Welcome to NFL Total Access. I'm MJ Acosta-Ruiz. Ah, yes, Super Bowl 55, or maybe I should say Super Bowl Willie.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah, Willie McGinnis.
Oh, how you doing?
You know a little something about 55, don't you?
This? You're talking about? I just had. Where did this come from?
Where'd you get that?
This
Back
was
of your
just
car?
hanging out somewhere on stage. I happened to find it just hanging out.
Casual.
Yeah.
Hold on to that.
I know
me,
you're
Willie.
busy. I'll be back.
The matchups are set, and man, does we need this after the craziest season of all time. Speaking of all time, let's take a look back at the last stop on Tom Brady's road to his 10th Super Bowl. That's right. We go to Bucs at Packers for the NFC championship. The first postseason meeting between these two guys. Under 10 seconds left before the half. Tom Brady, oh man, with a deep throw to Scotty Miller. 39 yards for the touchdown there. The Bucs head into the half with a 21-10 lead. All right, so we fast forward to the fourth. 2:15 left in this one. Packers trail by 8, third and goal. Aaron Rodgers looking for Devontae Adams, but it was broken up in the end zone. On 4th and goal, Matt LaFleur said, let's kick a field goal. They get it, but still trail 31-26. Clock winding down here. Buccaneers with a 5-point lead and trying to seal it. 3rd and 5, Chris Godwin takes it 6, gets the first down. That's game. Buccaneers win 31-26. First team now in the NFL to host Super Bowl.
It's a tough journey to get here. So to go on the road and win another road playoff game is just a great achievement. And, now home Super Bowl for the first time in NFL history, I think puts a lot of cool things in perspective. Anytime you're the first time doing something, it's usually a pretty good thing.
So many teams don't get a chance because they don't get the Super Bowl in their stadium. It was obviously the goal of ours to start this season, but getting to the Super Bowl wasn't what our goal is. Our goal is to win it.
It's just hard to have a lot to say about something that you were not prepared for. Had a lot of confidence in everything going into this game, and it hurts right now. I hurt for everybody involved.
I'm just pretty gutted. It's a long season. You put so much into it to get to this point. And then, the way, we had our chances.
All right, Willie, last Wednesday, you had your eye on that NFC Championship game. Look at your headline. The host with the most. Nailed it. Tom Brady is doing just that. And listen, I agreed. Doubled down there saying not only would it be Brady in Super Bowl 55, but also Patrick Mahomes. Yep, the GOAT and the kid on the front page of the Costa Inquirer there. So it shall be. We can go into the newspaper business.
Yes.
No, I like it right here on TV.
That was last Wednesday, right?
It was last Wednesday.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
David Carr and LaDainian Tomlinson joining us here as well. Guys, NFL history made a couple different ways over the weekend, but for Brady and the Bucs, this runs deep, man. Tom Brady, per usual, unbelievable despite those 3 picks he threw.
Yeah.
To that end, Willie, though, that Bucs defense playing lights out.
Absolutely, and they're going to have to continue to play lights out, but the defense in the front four, to be precise, is what gave them the opportunity to win that football game, getting pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And when you look at how they did it with 4 guys, okay? 4 guys going against 5 pretty much the entire game. Watch Pierre-Paul right here. He's going one-on-one on Brian Turner. This is just a speed to power with the pole arm. Aaron Rodgers is in his comfortable place in the middle of the pocket. Once he get even with the quarterback, he's going to come off, rip, and get to Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't have time to set up. He doesn't have time to make the throws down the field, okay? Shaq Barrett, again, you got Pierre-Paul. Pierre-Paul's going to invade the middle of the pocket. Watch the get off from Shaq Barrett. He got off the ball cat quick. He's 2 yards behind the tackle before he can even get out of his stance. Okay, Aaron Rodgers feels this pressure, but guess what? He cannot stand up and run up in the pocket because Pierre-Paul is there. Turns into a game. Okay, now, Todd Bowles did a good job of calling games with the front four. Not all straight rushers. You got an ET. Pierre-Paul first, Vita Vea around the side. Sue's going to get double, and Barrett's going to seal the edge on the backside. Watch how it plays out. Pierre-Paul crashes the middle of the pocket where Aaron can't stand up. Vita Vea, you're the contain guy. Get around the outside. Shaq Barrett, he's got the edge. He's even with Aaron Rodgers. Nowhere to step up, nowhere to get outside, nowhere to run. They did a great job of being disciplined in their pass rush and it being effective in sacking and affecting the pocket. 5 sacks, in 8 quarterback hits. That was phenomenal by that front.
They knew it too, huh?
You know what's crazy about that video that you eloquently laid out? That's not the first time that the Packers had seen that type of ability from those pass rushers. So what baffles me about this entire game, and it was hard to get over, the situational football is one thing, and kicking the field goal instead of going for the touchdown. And there's a lot of things right at the end of the half, giving up a big touchdown, to Scotty Miller. That can all be handled internally. But the thing that bothers me, it's the head coach, Matt LaFleur. He knows those guys have mad pressure. He can get after them. And they come out, right? It's a 5-point game in the fourth quarter. Brady throws 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter, and it is followed up by incomplete pass, 5-yard pass, sack, punt. Next interception, sack, incomplete, punt. No runs, no screens, nothing to slow down the rush, nothing to give Aaron Rodgers and these Green Bay Packers a chance. The defense fought their tail off to get the ball back, to force turnovers, and all you did was give it right back to him. And that's the thing that's going to eat at him. That's going to bother them. That's what bothers Aaron Rodgers. He's a great player, and he wants to be great, and he wants to make the plays, and he wants the ball in his hands. But a head coach has to be smart, and he has to understand that, yes, I have a great quarterback, but I have to have this system. That's why you guys have been so good the last couple of years. It's the system. It's the running the football. It's utilizing those guys to make your team the best, and they failed to do that.
Yeah, David, I love everything that you just mentioned. When you look at this game, you think about missed opportunities if you're the Green Bay Packers. And like you said, particularly on offense, this was the #1 offense in football. And as you mentioned, they have done it by being balanced. They were ranked in the top 10 in rushing. They were ranked 12th in rushing attempts. So the balance was critical to the way they want to play offense. Now, I get it. You get down in that game at the end of the half where you really can't run the ball as much coming out the second half. Right. You had to kind of throw your way back into the football game, and I get that. But as David mentioned, there were a time where it was 28-23. You were only down by 5 points. You got 2 turnovers, and you did not try to run the ball at all. Even to the point where you get down at the 8-yard line, guys. You have 4 chances inside the 20, and you didn't try to run the ball at all. And I thought that was just something, a missed opportunity not to try to run the football there, because that defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is too good for you to just sit back and throw the football. You have to give them multiple things to worry about. And at that point in the game, they didn't have anything to worry about but that passing game.
And I think both you guys make a great point. You could have slowed the rush down with screens, with draws, and different things like that to make them have to think about it. And if you're running the football, now that opens up things down the football field to make some plays to those receivers. And those receivers were winning the one-on-one battles, may I add.
Listen, clearly you guys have a lot to say about this, so save a little bit for later, because I know you'll get into it in Players Only later on in the show. Guys, thanks. Let's get to the latest news from around the league with our NFL insider Ian Rappaport. Ian, the Chiefs headed to the Super Bowl, but they will be without one of their starting offensive linemen.
Yeah, Eric Fisher, their Pro Bowl left tackle, probably playing as good this year as he has at any point in his career. Definitely one of the more underrated players in the NFL. Tore his Achilles and is now out for the Super Bowl, out for obviously the rest of the season. Faces a long road ahead, about a 9-month recovery for Eric Fisher. Going to have surgery soon. Should make a full recovery, but obviously for the Kansas City Chiefs, nothing more important than protecting Patrick Mahomes. Mike Remmer steps in there at left tackle, got to fill his void at right tackle. Really weakens the entire offensive line and creates a big-time challenge. Meanwhile, another player that we found out is playing through a pretty significant injury is Bills receiver Cole Beasley. He's playing through, a broken fibula. Not fully fractured, but certainly cracked, and something that's bothered him the last month or so. He told reporters, saying, no way I was going to miss a playoff game. Just take some meds and suck it up. Really the latest edition of football players. They're a lot tougher than us, MJ.
Unbelievable, just literally gritting his teeth for his team. Ian Rappaport, thank you. Still to come on NFL Total Access, Tom Brady, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Quickly. Let's bring some other people out. Come on.
Some other people could be the title of this week's Baller Alert. And we'll prove it. Still to come. Plus, the cold hard truth about the Buffalo Bills, who went into Sunday's game with a game plan that never had a chance. And the cold hard truth about Aaron Rodgers, who walked off the field with 2 questions about the end of the game and the end of his time in green and gold. Still to come on NFL Championship, Bills at Chiefs. KC hosting their 3rd straight AFC Championship game. Let's take you to the 4th. Bills ball trailing 31-15. 2nd and 10. Josh Allen throws for John Brown. Guess what? Picked off by Rashad Fenton. He takes it back 30 yards. That was Allen's first postseason interception. He felt it too. Ensuing Chiefs position, 3rd and goal. This sounds familiar. Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce for the touchdown. The Chiefs leaving no doubt as they now head to their 2nd consecutive Super Bowl appearance. Fans ready for it. Bring on Brady in the stands as the confetti rains down over Andy Reid.
The job's not finished. When we went into the season, we weren't talking about going to the Super Bowl. We were talking about winning it again, and we're trying to run it back. And we mean that, and I'm excited for the opportunity to go out there and play against a great football team and try to do that.
Obviously, a lot of emotion. Anytime you don't finish the season with the win, I feel like that's the type of emotion you're going to have. But the way it ended, it doesn't sit right with me. How chippy and ticky-tacky got, and I'm disappointed in myself that I let my emotions get to me there. And it's not how you're supposed to play the game of football. And all the other stuff, it is what it is. But I need to control what I can control, and I didn't there late in the 4th, and it's just not good football.
All right, let's focus on something that'll make you smile. Look at Andy Reid in the background there. Selfie stick and a GoPro, making sure he gets every moment there of his players like a proud papa. I love that so much. Capture the moment. I get it. All right, guys, we were expecting Mahomes and this KC offense to play at that level, but can we give a little deserved respect to that Chiefs defense, right? Because they were really able to contain these Bills receivers, David.
Yeah, they really were. I love the plan Steve Spagnuolo came in as far as the Chiefs defense. And a lot of teams, when you watch them play against the Bills, they're kind of in shock and awe from Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley and Josh Allen's ability to just make dynamic plays. And so you find a lot of teams will just kind of sit back and wait to see what's going to happen. Steve Spagnuolo and this defense went right at them. And these 3 plays that I'm going to show you why. This is the first 3rd and 3 that they have. Now, Stephon Diggs is open. He has a chance here at the top of the screen to catch this ball. But the ball has to be out of Josh Allen's hand. As he's turning around, it has to be halfway. It's not halfway. It's still in Josh's hand. So it's late and it's inaccurate. And that's what Steve Spagnuolo was betting on, that he couldn't be accurate and on time the entire game. You also have the problem of the RPO, the run-pass option. So what did they decide to do? They decided to play man-to-man coverage and bring pressure. Take the read out of it. We're going to lock him up. So Josh is confused here. He probably could have handed it off. But it's a man-to-man look, and there's bringing everybody. There's no deep safety. So now he doesn't have an outlet to throw the ball, so he kind of hangs on to it, ends up forcing a ball into coverage. It should have been intercepted. It was not intercepted. He got fortunate there. And then this last one pretty much sealed the game. Same type of play. RPO, you read this backside linebacker, it's man-to-man across the board. Well, that linebacker is going to step up and take the run because, like I said, they're playing man across the board. So Josh pulls it. Rightfully so, I'm going to throw this slant. You got a double on the inside, and you got tight man-to-man coverage on the outside. The throw's a little bit off. The receiver doesn't win. The ball bounces up in the air, and it's an interception for the Chiefs. So they challenged Josh Allen to be accurate and on time, and he wasn't able to do it. Now, he's got a lot of growing up to do. He's got to understand what he's seeing and what the Chiefs have done. Other teams are going to try and do. It's a tough pill to swallow, but the Chiefs, credit to them for what they did. That was a great game plan.
Yeah, David, you mentioned sitting back and watching on defense. And that's never a great option if you're talking about playing against Patrick Mahomes. You simply can't sit back and watch is what the Buffalo Bills defense did. And I just felt sorry for what they were displaying out there on the football field because you cannot just sit back in zone and let Patrick Mahomes carve you up. Let me ask you guys a question. What's the difference between throwing the ball 10 yards to Tyreek Hill and watching him go 71 and throwing the ball over someone's head for 71 yards? There's no difference. It still equals out to 71 yards. So that was the approach that the Buffalo Bills took. They said, listen, we're going to stay back in our cover 2 zone. We're going to hope that we can get pressure with our front 4, but we're going to try to make Patrick Mahomes hold the football. And I get it, because when you look at that first matchup, what did they do? They just ran the football against that cover 2 defense of the Buffalo Bills. But in this situation, the weather was totally different. If you guys remember the first game, the weather was bad. That's why they ran the football. This time the weather was great, and Patrick Mahomes was able to just sit back there and carve up that defense. So I just thought it was a bad game plan from the Buffalo Bills standpoint.
LT, you probably have 2,000 yards in this type of system as a pass catcher and well over 1,000 as a runner, because they have so many interchangeable pieces that can switch different job descriptions. They all can do it amongst the game plan that they have the script. And you talked about it. So many man beaters, so many one-on-one beaters. But the X factor to this offense, when it's all said and done, is Kelce. Travis Kelce is the guy that can play every single position as a receiver. He plays the true tight end in the Y. He plays the H. He'll play in the slot. He'll play the X. He'll play the Z. They'll motion him. They'll use him all over the field. So he's the guy that gets lined up and he finds those mismatches. When you talk about the zone, he's the guy that's going to find the holes in the zone. When it's man-to-man, you got to chase those fast guys down the field. Guess who's got the one-on-one underneath to intermediate routes? It's Travis Kelce. He plays like a big body when the ball is coming to shield you off, but he has receiver-type skills when the ball's in the air in his route running. So it makes it so hard to cover and to see what the Kansas City Chiefs offense is doing. It just, like you said, it's almost unstoppable. You got to figure out how to get home with the front and beat them up on the back end.
Not easy. Not an easy thing to do at all.
I've been saying it all year.
Okay. I love that we're talking about matchups, though, because, of course, Kelce will be at the Super Bowl. But we got a whole week of Pro Bowl, and I hope you have a few more battles left in you guys, because the NFL Pro Bowl versus battles debut tomorrow, Tuesday, January 26th. And I caught up with music royalty and the masterminds behind Versus, Timbaland and Swiss Beats, and they talked to me about this collaboration with the NFL. Full interview tomorrow here at 6 Eastern on Total Access. Here's a sneak peek, though. We have players that they're going head-to-head with their top plays. So as a master of the battle here, I want you guys to tell me how you would guide the players so we know that they're coming correct for this versus battle.
Well, always start off with your best foot and make sure your energy is good and come to win. Although it's a celebration, what we do at Versus, it's an educational celebration, which is an educational music celebration. And this event is going to be an amazing sports celebration, big time.
Fantastic. So to come this week on NFL Total Access, Tuesday is brought to you by the number 12, as in week 12 when Tyreek Hill went off for 269 yards and 3 touchdowns. But adjustments are necessary, but what are they? Wednesday is also brought to you by the number 12, 12 Super Bowl appearances between Pat and Tom when they meet in Tampa. Kurt Warner has a not so obvious angle to look for in this one. But first, our next segment is brought to you by the number 12, as in Aaron Rodgers, who was hit with questions about the future after the game. Our guys have answers after the break.
Touchdown, yes! To the 5, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Buccaneers. Picked off by Sean Murphy, Ponte, Scotty, Scooter Miller, and Brady puts it right on the spot. A fumble football, scooped up by the Buccaneers. It's Devin White. One play for Brady to do his thing. Touchdown.
With that stop, the field goal try now by Crosby. Really surprised by that decision.
Godwin drops for the first down. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be the first team ever to host a Super Bowl.
Hartman standing at his 11-yard line.
Drops it, muffs it. Tyrod Jones comes up with it at the 2-yard line. Touchdown, Buffalo. Knots and knots. Touchdown!
The Jet on a short flight. The Chiefs have 3 touchdowns. A new wrinkle to Kelce. It's picked off by Fenton. Kelce wide open, and it's human pyrotechnics. Yes, the Chiefs are back-to-back AFC champions.
And that brings us to Go Figure. 3 numbers, each with its own story. Starting with 17. Buffalo's number 17. 17's a Pro Bowler. He's on the MVP shortlist. He had the greatest passing season in Buffalo history. But 17 did more than put up stats. He put up belief. He put up hope. 17 said, come with me. We can do this even if I have to run for it. 17's fun to watch. He's fun to root for. He's worth every Sunday night trip to the airport and every Sub-Zero card table body slam. A win yesterday would have been playoff win number 17 for this franchise. Something tells me Josh Allen will get that and a whole lot more before he's done. The second number is 6. 6 is a win for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. More importantly, 6 is a win for diversity. The Bucs have 2 female coaches, 3 black coordinators, and a black assistant head coach. 6 key members of a success story. 6 faces of diversity headed to a Super Bowl. 6 reminders that diversity isn't a box to check, it's a strategy to win. 6 feels good today. And finally, we're back to number 17 to honor another player who, like Josh Allen, has earned a go-figure encore. Green Bay's number 17, Davante Adams, a first-team All-Pro talent, the top target of the year's top quarterback. 17 faced every team's best cornerback, and he still led the NFL wide receivers in touchdowns and yards per game. Green Bay isn't Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Green Bay is Mr. Rogers' taborhood. Hey, Green Bay, get the decision right on 12-4-17. Go figure. Listen, a lot of question marks around the future in Green Bay. Let's go ahead and hear from Rogers directly.
A lot of guys' futures that are, uncertain, myself included. That's what's sad about it most. Getting this far, obviously there's going to be an end to it at some point, whether we make it past this one or not, but just the uncertainty is tough, and the finality of it all.
I mean, guys, the MVP of this league, he is the heart and soul of our football team. So, hell yeah, he better be back here. He's our leader.
Willie, I'll send it to you and the guys for this one. Players only.
Thanks, MJ. And fellas, you guys know after you lose a big game like that, there's a lot of frustration throughout the players, the coaching staff, and everything that goes on. And David, I'll kind of start with you. When you look at him talk about the roster and some of the other things that happen, this is normal, in my opinion. The roster always changes after a big season because of free agency, guys moving on, new players coming into the locker room, and all those different things. I don't think anything Aaron Rodgers said was wrong.
Nope, I completely agree with you. In fact, Aaron Rodgers, not only was it not wrong, it was totally justified in saying whatever he wants to say. And if Aaron Rodgers is not a Green Bay Packer, let me get this clear. If he's not on the Packers football team next year, the general manager shouldn't be there. And the guy who allowed it to happen, the head coach, Matt LaFleur, should not be there because he's the MVP of our league, in my opinion. And you just fix it. You find a way. And I think the biggest thing, and what Aaron's frustration is there, is all he's getting are questions about situational stuff. And that's the thing that bothers me. And I've said it a lot on this show because I really believe in it. I would sit in meetings with Tom Coughlin on Fridays, every Friday with Eli Manning and Tom Coughlin, and we would go over situational stuff. End of half, end of game scenarios. What do you do with 4 shots from the 8-yard line? All of those things were covered. And it doesn't feel like Matt LaFleur's to that level yet. He needs to get there. He's not there yet. And you can eliminate a lot of the frustration that Aaron Rodgers has right now.
Yeah, I hear both of you guys with the frustration part. I guess I'm looking at the fact that, did you guys hear whenever he talked about the uncertainty? He said, even myself, and he gave a little giggle. Like, this is asinine to be sitting here thinking about me not coming back to Green Bay. Are you kidding me right now? This is what we're talking about? So as a player, you guys know this, you do get ticked off if someone is asking you this question.
Right.
All the stuff that I've done in this league, that's the way Aaron Rodgers feeling. And he knows that this young guy that you drafted is in the same meeting room. So I got to look at this guy every single day, and it's a constant reminder that I don't know what my future is, and it's a dang shame.
Yeah. You talk about a constant reminder. Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 3 years after being drafted in the first round, so he knows all too well what that feels like. But the difference is his skill level hasn't depleted. He's still playing at the highest level. He's the MVP. So that takes me to my other point. When the game is on the line, and David, you talked about situational football. You want your best players in position to make plays, correct? So when the game is on the line, Aaron Rodgers also is frustrated because you're walking your best player on the field, off the field, when you need to win a football game by a touchdown. A field goal does not win a football game. Regardless of the timeouts and all the time you have, you're still down by 5. You still need a touchdown and the 2 extra point and the 2-point conversion to win the game. So Aaron Rodgers, in his mind, has said, I've done this a million times. I've been in 2-minute situations. I've made plays in the biggest games. My teammates trust me. I am the MVP. Put it on me, and let me show you what I can do. And that didn't happen. So I think that's where a lot of the frustration and confusion sets in, not only for the team, but for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of that stuff, and you even heard LaFleur say that he wasn't prepared for this feeling. Well, you need to be, and you need to also be prepared for that situation that you laid out, and LT laid it out earlier. And when you have that scenario, and you're inside the 10-yard line, and you gain 0 yards on the first 3 plays, and then your quarterback comes off the field, shocked that you kicked the field goal, there's some miscommunication that's happening right there, and there's some guys that need to be on the same page, because as soon as you cross the 30, you need to know, and Aaron needs to know in his headset, hey, we're going for it, we got 4 downs, or we got 3 downs, we're going to take a field goal there. If that's not happening, LT, that's some real issues.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, this is what I'll add to it, and I'll finish with this. Think about what Aaron Rodgers is thinking about right now when he's looking on the other side of the field and he sees Tom Brady, who was in New England last year and got out of there. And he's thinking like, man, this guy has gotten this way. He's gotten another team to the Super Bowl. Can I do the same thing? That's probably what he's thinking.
Look at LT trying to stir it up. Listen, my true opinion is he'll be back in Green Bay. They'll put all the resources around him, and this team will be even more dangerous, MJ, next year than they were this year.
LT had to get that line in, didn't he? All right, guys, let's get you caught up on the latest headlines. Over in the AFC, what a season for Josh Allen and the Bills. After placing himself firmly in the MVP conversation, the Bills season ended against the defending champs, just 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Allen spoke today about the season as a whole.
We're not satisfied, obviously, and I feel like I'm learning this lesson now, but unless you win the whole thing, you're not satisfied with how it ended. You know, there's always things you could have done better, and, you know, hindsight is 20/20, and that's what sucks about it. But again, we'll learn from it, we'll grow from it, and we'll be better from it.
Some coaching updates around the league. Joe Lombardi agreed to terms to become the Chargers' new offensive coordinator. The Texans are conducting second interviews with Leslie Frazier and David Culley for their head coaching vacancy, and the Steelers promoted Matt Canada to offensive coordinator.
Especially on Championship Sunday. All right, David, let's go, man. It's the big-time players making these big-time plays. Give me your first one.
All right, well, the first one is an easy one for me. He busted out a spin move, which I kind of love. Leonard Fournette, do you think he's a heavy-pounded, like, run-behind-the-shoulder pads type guy? Only had 12 rushes for 55 yards, but he had a big touchdown. And this nice play here with the nice little, I mean, what is that? The guy's ballerina-esque. It's back to his LSU days. Great job by him. Baller for sure.
I love it, man. How about the dynamic sack duo with the Buccaneers? Okay, JPP and Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett had a 3-piece. That's 3 sacks, and JPP had 2. They needed to put pressure on Aaron Rodgers and create pressure in the pocket. They did that all game long. The guys in the middle helped out. They were getting double teamed, so the edge rushers was 1-on-1, and they got to the quarterback, and they were on a mission. They're going to need it again this week.
And Aaron Rodgers extremely uncomfortable. My guy Steve Spagnuolo gets my baller alert because this guy goes out and puts together game plan after game plan. Really pairs well with what the Chiefs do. I think Andy Reid brilliant by bringing him in because he's an aggressive, attacking style defensive coordinator. And you put that with a team that can score a ton of points. That's a recipe for Super Bowl championships. So great job by him putting together a great plan for the Bills. Hats off to Steve.
And Travis Kelce, man, he lives in the VIP club, okay? He set a record. Congratulations for the playoff conference championship for receptions. He had 13 for 118 and 2 tugs. He is definitely the X factor on this team, and he does it all. A true baller and a normal guy that you see all the time in the VIP.
And if this guy's the X factor on his team, I don't know what this guy is because he's out of control crazy when he gets the ball in his hands. I literally, on this catch here, I started making the motorcycle revving noises when he caught it, and my friends and family were looking at me like I'm a crazy person. I'm like, they can't touch him. I mean, literally, he's running through the entire Bills defense. Fantastic speed. Pairs well with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Incredible player.
Now, this is a special edition. This goes out to Bruce Arians and the coaching staff for the Buccaneers. You talk about the guy with the most players. He has 10 players, former players, on his staff. You talk about a guy that's planting his own seeds to grow his own trees. He's not plucking from anybody else. He's developing men and women that he has on his staff of color, doing it in the biggest way and the highest level, found themselves in the Super Bowl. So props to Bruce Arians and Light, the general manager, and his staff for doing it your way and not following everybody else. MJ?
Ooh, you better let him know, Willie. All right, Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Squares is back with millions of dollars in prizes. It's the largest official game of Super Bowl Squares ever, and it is free. Every time the score changes during Super Bowl 55, the one lucky winner will receive $50,000 to get ready for Super Bowl 55. Here are the actual headlines around Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. Daily News saying, super freak. Yep, I see you. I agree as well. This other publication, Sports in Town, see you in Tampa for Super Bowl 55. I see what y'all did there. All right, and the rubber match with the Lombardi on the line. Mahomes and Brady have split their 4 previous contests, with Mahomes having an edge in all the stats. But there is only one column that matters on February 7th, the win column. Patrick Mahomes says he's ready to face the ageless wonder.
The Super Bowl is the Super Bowl. Being able to go up against one of the greatest, if not the greatest, quarterback of all time in his 150th Super Bowl. I mean, it's going to be a great experience for me. I mean, to go out there and have a chance to repeat and get to do it against the best. I mean, it's something special, and I'm excited for the opportunity.
Okay, so we've been waiting all season for this, fellas, and now it is locked. These two guys facing off in Super Bowl 55. Willie, but what's the most intriguing storyline of the Super Bowl for you?
I would have to say it's Tom Brady. And I'm not being a homer, but it's Tom Brady going to his 10th Super Bowl. And the story won't ever be to him about how many rings he's won or championships or he's going to 2 different conferences to win it. It'll be about the journey. It'll be about the young kids that he inspired, because he wasn't a high draft pick. He wasn't in the best of shape, and he didn't get the opportunity right out of college to come in and take over a position. He got an opportunity based on injury, took advantage of it, and he played with resolve and a lot of chip on his shoulder. He showed with work ethic, preparation, and putting team over individual can do. And the one thing that I love about Tom is whatever he approaches or whatever the moment is, nothing else he's did in the past really matters. And when you look at these special moments now at 43 going to the next Super Bowl like this with his son, this sums it up pretty much for me.
Can I say hi to my son? Love you, kiddo. How about that?
Good job.
We're going to the Super Bowl, baby. What do you think? I love you, man. Way to go. I'll see you. I'll call you a little bit later.
All right, I love you.
All right. Love you, kiddo.
I'm guessing that was Jack as his oldest son. And here's the special moment right here. He's asking, can he say hello to his son at the game? I mean, how special is that? That just shows what kind of guy he is. I tell everybody that he's a better person than he is a football player, and that says a lot about him right there.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. I think that when you look at the Super Bowl, it's always fun for me to look at the depth of the storylines and to see how far you can really dig. Steve Spagnuolo played against Tom Brady, and you guys will remember the New York Football Giants with that front 4 coming after him. I mean, I'm looking at the front, and so when I look at this, how is this game going to be decided? I think about Eric Fisher and that torn Achilles. That's a huge loss. Yes. Think about what David Bakhtiari meant to the Green Bay Packers against JPP and Shaq Barrett. I think that if this is an issue, if this is something that the Buccaneers can take advantage of, just look out. I feel terrible for Eric. You don't want this to happen to anybody. You want everyone to be at full strength. But man, that opens the door for these 2 monsters on the outside to really pin their ears back and get going. Let's see if they can make it happen.
Yeah, David, and I'll piggyback off that because everybody's going to talk about the offenses, and we know rightfully so. But I'm going to piggyback, like I said, and talk about both of the defenses. And I know defenses doesn't win championships anymore. I'm sorry, Willie. That generation left with you. It's all about the offenses now. But this game, guys, could come down to, as David just mentioned, both of the front 4s, because we know both of these teams have really good front 4s, and they love to put pressure on you from the outside at the cornerback position. They're going to get up and challenge you. So if one of these teams can get pressure with their front 4 and create a turnover or 2 or a big stop late in the game, That could be the difference in this Super Bowl. I really believe it's going to be a high-scoring affair, but it's going to come down to the fourth quarter. Who can get that stop at the end of the game?
He's talking about the defenses, but he said they don't matter no more.
I mean, that was one of the most interesting things. How you going to back roll on that?
I said they don't win championships no more. They don't win championships. They do matter.
I thought that was the NFC championship they just won.
I'm just going to let you button that up.
We'll talk off record. We'll talk
offline about it. I know that we dissect the storylines, fellas, and I love this because it gives us a few key points to look at, but I'm here for the crazy plays, and we have 10 things to get to before we can put this show to bed. 10 things as in 10 plays. 10 plays as in the best 10 plays of the playoffs so far. Coming up next on NFL Total Access.
NFL Total Access.
Apologies presented by proper number 12. Lily, who had the best defense of the playoffs?
Well, it had to be the Bucs. I mean, when you look at what they did as far as getting after the quarterback, they have the most giveaways, they have the most sacks, and they have the most takeaways. So if the Bucs defense is playing in the Super Bowl, it's because of what they've done in the last 3 games they played. And you got to be able to affect the pocket, you got to be able to take the football away, and you got to be able to get off the football field and limit teams to points. And they've done a great job at doing that. So that's why they're playing in the big game.
That's how you get there, despite what LT might infer about defenses and champions.
We don't need defense.
What a crazy season it's been, guys. And listen, the postseason has not disappointed us. Neither did we expect it to. So let's take a look back, settle in at the top plays of the playoffs. Let's start here. Number 10 would be Bucs at Packers. 8 seconds before half, Tom Brady fires it to a wide open Scotty Miller.
Where's that defense? Where's that defense?
Except for that play. All right, number 9, Rams at Seahawks. Russell Wilson.
That was big.
To Metcalf, picked off by Darius. There it is, LT. He was asking for it.
Split the double team.
Browns at Chiefs at number 8. Anything is possible. Chad relief for Mahomes. Takes it to Tyreek Hill to seal the game with that first down right there. I love this play.
Got so many plays.
Yes, number 7, Buccaneers at Saints. Alvin Kamara hands it off to Emmanuel Sanders, who flips it to Jameis Winston. Winston finds Tre'Quan Smith for the 56-yard touchdown. Unreal, that play. That was one of my favorites for sure. Number 6, Rams at Packers. Aaron Rodgers rolls to the right. Pump fake.
Don't jump.
Makes him jump, but he did.
We always say that in the meetings. Do not jump on
right
the pump fake.
They always do. Balls for him. All right, number 5, Bills at Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes to his boy Travis Kelce. Done and done.
How many times have we seen this one?
David.
I know, right? I mean, how many times are people going to let that happen?
Never get every time, evidently, David. Every time. Number 4, Buccaneers at Packers. Leonard Fournette up the middle, sees nothing. LT, come on.
Sweet feet. That's sweet feet right there. I'll see you, Fournette.
Fantastic. Ravens at Bills in the number 3 spot. This was one of my favorites. Taron Johnson, 101 yards
to the crib.
To the house. Ridiculous.
Set a record, correct?
Wasn't even out of breath, it looked like. Just out there. What's up? It's the Showtime cam. Number 2. A little more action there. This goes back to Tyler Heineke. He keeps it for himself.
We got a Henny, we got a Heineke, we got a little bit of everything.
What I love here is what his team, look at that, Chase Young loves it.
Yeah.
Put some respect on his name. And number 1, Ravens at Titans. Oh, Lamar.
See ya.
Lamar. Don't give him an inch.
See ya.
There he goes. This was 48 yards for the touchdown as they beat the Titans there. Oh, I miss Lamar Jackson plays. Don't you guys? I do. I love this one.
Titans don't.
LT, I know you're grinning here at that nice run. What was your favorite moment from Championship Sunday specifically?
Is that me?
Yeah, LT.
I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Bruce Arians, guys, you know, I always find pleasure in seeing guys do something for the first time. Now, I know Bruce has been to the Super Bowl as an assistant, but not as a head coach. And the look on his face whenever he knew it was going to happen, he was like a kid in a candy store, man. It was so awesome to watch him go through that.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this really simple. As much as we talk about the quarterbacks, and we're going to do that a lot in the next 2 weeks, we're treated to a great matchup here. Tom Brady on his way out, passing of the torch Pat Mahomes, the young kid coming in as the MVP, has a Super Bowl championship. This is just going to be a great matchup, and I'm jealous from the quarterback's perspective to get to watch these guys play one more time.
David, did you say he's on his way out? I thought he was just getting started. So I'm going to continue to talk about him. I'm going to give him some more love. And, you know, we saw the moment earlier with him, you know, embracing his son, asking, could he go say hello to his son? But it's like the moment never gets old when you're playing in the Super Bowls. And you can never get used to it. And all the hard work and everything that went through it, a lot of people question